I seek refuge in Allah from Shaitan, the wretched one. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. I begin in the name of Allah, the Compassionate, the Most Merciful. يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. O you who have believed, fasting has been prescribed and fixed upon you just as it was fixed upon those before you, so that you may gain taqwa and piety. أيام معدودات, for a few days which can be counted. فمن كان منكم مريضا أو على سفر فعدة من أيام أخر. However, should any one of you be sick or on a journey, then he should fast a number of other days equal to the missed ones. وعلى الذين يطيقونه فدية طعام مسكين. As for those who barely have strength to keep the fast, they should give a fidya, compensation, that is the feeding of a poor person. فَمَنْ تَطَوَّعَ خَيْرًا فَهُوَ خَيْرٌ لَهُ. Then whosoever does good voluntarily, that is better for him. وَأَنْ تَصُومُوا خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ إِن كُنْتُمْ تَعْلَمُونَ. However, that you fast is better for you if you only knew. These are the ayat with regards to Sawm from Surah Al-Baqarah, ayat number 183 and 184, in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us that fasting has been prescribed upon us just as it was prescribed upon those before us. Ramadan is coming close. That is why we want to talk a little bit about Ramadan and fasting. There are plenty of virtues of fasting. For example, among the benefits of fasting is Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said in the hadith of Tabrani, narrated from Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu, "Sumu tasihhu." Fast and you will regain health. So if a person wants to do some dieting, he wants to go regain health, then he should keep roza, and through fasting he will regain the health. कौन सी किताब लाए? हाँ? चलो भी रख दो, फिर देख लेंगे इसको, टाइम नहीं है, जज़ाकल्लाह. Number 2, another hadith says that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "As-siyamu nisfu sabr, wa ala kulli shay'in zakatun wa zakatul jasadi as-sawm." Zakatul jasad as-sawm. The zakat of the body is fasting. Narrated by Imam Bayhaqi in his book Shu'abul Iman. Number 3, with fasting a person can gain control over his shahwat. As-siyamu junnatun ma lam yakhriqha. Fasting is a shield, meaning it protects a person from his shahwat as long as he doesn't tear it apart. Now, sometimes with fasting the shahwat and desire increases in the beginning. So the reason for that is because fasting creates a sort of hararat and heat inside the body. So when a person fasts continuously, then slowly that heat reduces from the body and that shahwat goes down. So it needs to be done continuously and in a proper manner, not just changing the meal times and eating too much at sahri and too much in the iftari. No, controlling your desire, then inshallah you will be able to control your shahwat as well. Number 4, roza, fasting increases taqwa. لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ, Allah said over here. Number 5, with fasting our past sins can be forgiven. مَنْ صَامَ رَمَضَانَ إِيمَانًا وَاحْتِسَابًا غُفِرَ لَهُ مَا تَقَدَّمَ مِنْ ذَنْبِهِ. In another hadith, مَنْ صَامَ رَمَضَانَ وَتَحَفَّظَ مِمَّا يَنْبَغِي لَهُ أَنْ يَتَحَفَّظَ مِنْهُ كَفَّرَ مَا قَبْلَهُ. Ramadan, and you protect yourself, then the whole Ramadan will expiate your previous sins, forgive your sins. Another hadith said, "As-salawatul khams wa Ramadanu ila Ramadan mukaffiratun lima baynahunna majtunibatil kaba'ir." As long as you stay away from major sins, Ramadan to Ramadan will expire and be a cause of forgiveness for your sins. Many other benefits in Ramadan. Du'as are accepted. One hadith said, "As-sa'im la turaddu da'watuhu," narrated by Ibn Abi Shayba from Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu, that the Sa'im's prayers are not rejected. Allah will definitely hear them. In Roza, there is plenty of reward. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, "As-sawmu li wa ana ajzi bihi." The fasting is for me and I will personally give the reward of the fasting. Also, fasting will intercede for a person on the day of Qiyamah. الصيام والقرآن يشفعان للعبد يوم القيامة يقول الصيام رب منعته الطعام والشهوات بالنهار فشفعني فيه ويقول القرآن رب منعته النوم بالليل فشفعني فيه فيشفعان. So they will intercede, Quran and Roza, for the person who fasts properly. Number 9, in Ramadan, a person gets tawfiq of khair. His heart is naturally softened and he is inclined towards doing good. Because there are many other reasons which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned, like the shayateen are chained, the doors of Jannah are open, the gates of Jahannam are closed and locked away, and then Allah's rahmah is showering upon those who are fasting, and a caller calls out every day, Ya baghi al-khayr aqbil wa ya baghi al-shar aqsir wa lillahi utaqa'u min an-nar wa dhalika kull layla. So these are all benefits of fasting. With number 10, there is a special gate for those who fast for going into Jannah. 8 gates, one will be specially for those who fast abundantly, especially nowadays. At least the Farz Roza of Ramzan should be kept by everyone. May Allah give us tawfiq. May Allah make our fasting and Roza easy for us, so we can also achieve and gain that special gate which takes us into paradise. So these are some nearly 10 benefits of fasting which Roza is coming. Now, moving on to the Masail, we want to talk a little bit about the Masail of fasting. First of all, Ramazan is coming. First masla comes about Ruyat-e Hilal, sighting the crescent. Where there is Amirul Mumineen, Khalifa-e Waqt, Hakim, then he decides whether the moon has been sighted or not, and the public has to go according to that. So in the Islamic countries, whatever the system is, they will go according to that. Where there is no Islami Hukumat, then there is some Shar'i Panchayat Ruyat-e Hilal committee. They decide that okay, so and so day will be Ramadan, and according to that they can go. Over here we talk about England. There are some people who follow the observatory, there are others who follow the Saudi. Our stance on this subject is that some time ago in 1984-85 there was a huge gathering of ulama from Jami'iyatul Ulama, Hizbul Ulama, and there was debate and discussion over here in Darul Umbari. And after that, finally, it was decided that because of the nature of the weather in England, and the climate always being, horizon always being cloudy all the time, most of the times, even in summer as well, we can't see the moon over here. So if we get news from other countries, we can take it, whichever country it is. At that time, there were no mobiles, no satellites, no this, no that, but still there was the decision. And we used to get news before that from Morocco, but then they widened it up to Saudi as well. So if news came from Saudi, we started acting upon that. Now, in this day and age, in the technological age, the world has become a global village. So small town, whatever is happening in Saudi, we can see it over here in front of our own eyes. So if the ulama have given fatwa that we are allowed to follow the ruyat of Saudi, then there is no harm in there. We should not cause any frictions in there. If it is possible, follow that. However, if your masjid, if your locality decides otherwise, follow them and go according to that. This is our stance, and we can explain that. I don't want to go into too much detail on that, but ulama have made the decision. It's been published in this book called Asr-e Hazir ke Pechida Masail. There's about 20-30 page discussion over there. Masail, Fatawa, everything is over there. So we can go according to that. I'll just mention one thing which Hazrat Shaykh Zakaria Rahmatullah Alayhi has mentioned in Awjazul Masalik. From after debating on this masla, he says that there is this qawl among the fuqaha that Ahl Maghrib can take the ruyat of Ahl Mashriq, But Ahl Mashriq don't have to take the ruyat of Ahl Maghrib. Meaning, those who live in the east, they don't have to take the ruyat and the of those who are living in west. Saudi is in the middle. New Zealand, Australia, Fiji, Japan are on the other side where the day starts. So they don't have to take the ruyat of Saudi, because it may be possible that the moon is sighted over here, whereas they have done their breakfast. So we won't say that you have to keep roza or you have to make qaza. But those living in the west, like us, we can take the ruyat of Saudi. Then if we get news from there, we can say, okay, there is only one moon in the world. So if that one moon is seen somewhere, we are like a global village now, a small town, so we can go according to that. Some people object that, Saudi don't have proper system of viewing the crescent and ruyat hilal. We will say, Darogh bargardane ravi. If they are doing something wrong, Allah will ask them on the day of Qiyamah. We are allowed, who are we to question that? When muftis have said we can follow that, then we should be allowed to follow that. If you want to follow it, okay, as long as you don't say we are wrong. Don't tell us we are doing wrong. For those who are following Saudi, they are not doing anything wrong. They are allowed to follow that. Muftiyan Kiram have said it. If you have other opinion, by all means, keep your opinion. You can act according to that. But don't say those who follow Saudi are totally wrong. Anyway, this is with regards to the Ruyat Hilal Muslim. Now, moving on, when Ramzan starts and you start fasting, we will explain what is fasting, definition of fasting. Leaving eating, drinking and sexual pleasure from Subh Sadiq till Ghurub Shams. This is called as-Sawm. عبارة عن ترك الأكل والشرب والجماع من الصبح إلى غروب الشمس بنية التقرب إلى الله سبحانه وتعالى. Upon whom is Sawm farz? What is the shart and condition of Roza being farz? 3 conditions: Islam, Aql and Bulugh. So, fasting is not farz upon a non-Muslim or a majnoon, insane, diwana, or a nabaligh, immature child. So when these 3 conditions are fulfilled, then fasting will become farz. There are some instances where fasting is not allowed. For example, when a lady is on menstruation or nifas, hayz and nifas, she is not allowed to fast. She will have to postpone it and fast at a later date. Also, there are a few days in the year in which one cannot fast, and they are the 2 days of Eid, Eid al-Fitr, Eid al-Adha, and the 3 days after Eid al-Adha, Ayyam al-Tashriq. So total 5 days. It's haram to fast upon these days. If someone fasts on these days, he will be committing a guna and a sin, incurring a sin upon himself. Moving on, niyat. A person will have to make intention that I am fasting. If he stays hungry without making intention, then the fast will not be counted. Now, intention is in the heart. If you say it with your tongue, okay, it's better to remind you, like وَبِصَوْمِ غَدٍ نَوَيْتُ مِنْ شَهْرِ رَمَضَانِ. Very good. But if you don't say it with your tongue, you just make the intention, that is also enough, because إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ, and niyyat is عَقْدُ الْقَلْبِ عَلَى الْفِعْلِ. So your niyyat is done, so your fasting will be done. In Fatawa Hindiyah it is written, وَالتَّسَحُّرُ فِي رَمَضَانَ نِيَّةٌ. Eating suhoor in Ramadan is intention. So when you get up for suhoor, you eat some sahri, then this is your intention. You don't have to say it because you get up for sahri, because you are going to fast. You are keeping roza. So that's enough. If someone did not get up for sahri or did not make niyat in the night, then he remembered later on, before Fajr, after Fajr, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, he's allowed to make niyat then, until nisfun nahar is-shad'i, which is, let's say, 10, 11 o'clock is roza. Before that you can make your niyat, after that you can't, as long as you haven't eaten or drunk anything. This is niyat. If someone makes one niyat for the whole Ramzan, it will not be counted. No, you have to make niyat every day for every roza, fixing that today is Ramzan, I am keeping the first roza of Ramzan, then your roza and fast will be counted. In Arabic, Sawm, English, fast, Urdu, roza. So it's everything, so you need to understand. Now, moving on. Usul siyam. Some rules and regulations with regards to fasting and how fast will be broken. First of all, we have to remember that we must never deliberately miss a roza or break a roza. एक भी रोजा तोड़ना नहीं, एक भी रोजा छोड़ना नहीं, न टूटे न छूटे, बराबर रोजा रखना है. Because one hadith narrated by Imam Tirmizi from Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu, Rasul Pak sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Man aftara yawman min Ramadan min ghayri rukhsatin wala maradin, lam yaqdihi siyamu dahri wa insamu." If you break one roza without any genuine reason or illness, then if you fast for your whole life, you can't make up for that roza. Meaning the sawab and the barakat and the blessing of that roza cannot be gained by fasting for your whole life. So you have to be very careful with regards to fasting. Now, remember the usul is that roza breaks from things that enter our body, meaning enter our stomach, or something that goes right up to the brain. That will break the roza. Not from things that come out of the body, except for two things which break the roza. One is money, semen, ejaculation that comes out of the body. If it's done deliberately, whether through sexual intercourse or whether through masturbation or some other ways, then the roza will be broken. And number two, vomiting deliberately. If someone pokes his fingers in his mouth and vomits, and he vomits mouthful, then his fast will be broken. However, if that vomit is less than mouthful, only a little bit something came out, then even though it was intentional, but the roza won't break. And if someone vomits unintentionally, he was sick just by smelling something or some other reason, and he unintentionally just vomited, no matter how much he vomits, his roza will not break. So you can understand the difference now between intention and unintention. Unintentionally, whatever amount will not break. Intentionally, mouthful will break. Less than mouthful will not break the roza. So this is the case with regards to the two things which come out of the body. Which is mere. So these are the things which break the roza fast. The two things which come out of the body. And the things which go inside the body, we will work over the anatomy of our body. First, we start off with the mouth. If you eat something, you drink something, things that go down your throat break the roza. Or similarly, things that go direct in the stomach also break the roza. For example, some injection, something straight into the stomach, inside the stomach, belly, will break the roza. If a person had a stroke and there was a hole made over here in the throat and a pipe goes inside and liquid food going direct in the stomach, this will break roza because it's going direct into the stomach. So things that go inside the stomach through the mouth break. Therefore, we have to avoid swallowing anything. For example, chewing gum, and you swallow the flavor inside, even though you throw the chewing gum out, but it will break the roza. Pan, you throw the pan out, but you are swallowing the rest with the saliva, it will break the roza. Bleeding, if you bleed and blood goes inside, and that blood is more than your saliva, then it will break the roza. But if it's only a minimal, a drop or two, and you can't even feel the taste of it, that won't break the roza. But if it's a lot through your gums and then it goes inside, you swallow it, it will break the roza. You have to spit it out. You should spit it out. Otherwise, there is a risk of roza breaking. Similarly, dental appointment. We should not keep dental appointment throughout month of Ramadan, because when the dentist is cleaning or filling or doing anything in your mouth, there is a huge risk, 99% risk of things going down the throat, because it's unavoidable. And you have to sometimes drink from the glass which is down to the medicine which he gives you, and some of it definitely goes down. So if you want to clean your teeth, to keep your appointment before Ramzan or after Ramzan, or out of after Maghrib and during those times, but not during Roza. Similarly, if you are just gargling in your wudu or ghusl, and you gargle heavily and water goes down the throat by mistake, then this will also break the roza. That is why during fasting and roza, you should gargle lightly and keep your head down while you are gargling. Make sure you don't put it up so water doesn't go down the throat. Huqqa, smoking. there is smoke going inside, it breaks the roza. If a person takes some bukhur, like oud or some क्या कहते हैं उसको, अगरबत्ती, incense बोलते हैं, अगरबत्ती, and you take the धुआं, and the धुआं and the smoke goes inside, that also breaks the roza, because the smoke is deliberately going inside. However, unintentionally you were just passing by and there was a fire or somewhere and some smoke inside, that's unintentionally unavoidable, that won't break it. But this is intentionally you are taking it, so that will break the roza. So in Ramadan we should avoid burning this agarbatti, or if you are a habit of some candle or some in that manner, aroma for aroma or things, so you should try and avoid that smoke because of the risk of roza breaking. Similarly, swallowing anything, stone or mud or anything that goes down the throat, even though you get no pleasure out of it, but it breaks the roza. Asthma pump. If someone gets asthma attack and he takes the pump, because there is medicine inside the asthma pump, there is not only oxygen, there is medicine inside, and that medicine goes down, and when it goes down this throat, it breaks the roza. So you have to be very, very careful. We have this Salafi fatwa over here, and they say that asthma pump does not break. Dr. Prashivli, that asthma pump does not break the roza. So we were, debating about this with our Sufi Tahir Sahab, and he said that, and the Hanafi fiqh, it breaks, but the Salafi fiqh says it doesn't break. So if a person is in trouble and he takes it, then what should he do? He should keep qaza during the shorter days, like in November, December, January, when the days are shorter. Keep your qaza over there and try and keep the roza properly. However, if that's also not possible, keep your roza now, and if once or twice, during the month, you need it and you take it to save your life, okay, give fidya of that day's roza because of that karahat and whatever has taken place. However, we have to remember that the original masla is that asthma pump, because of the medicine going down, the fuqaha have said that it breaks the roza. This is things going down the throat. We move on to the nose. If someone takes a snuff, because it's going directly up to the brain, that snuff will break the roza. Similarly, like we have just said, intake of bukhur and agarbatti breaks the roza. If any other medicine, you are lying down and you put the medicine and it goes right up to the brain, it will break the roza. Just water and you're cleaning your nose and water, rinsing it, that won't break the roza. But some medicine which goes up the brain, that will break the roza. So we have to be careful with regards to that. Moving on to the ears. If a person applies some medicine in the ears, and because that is, even though there is a barrier there, but that medicine reaches the brain and it affects that, so the medicine will break the roza. Similarly, oil, olive oil or some other type of oil or some medicine which goes inside, it will break the roza. However, if someone had a shower and some water went inside the ear, then the water won't break the roza, because that's unavoidable, and that may be the reason, maybe behind that, it doesn't reach the brain like the medicine reaches over there. So we should not deliberately put water inside, but if some unintentionally goes, the water will not break the roza. This is what the fuqaha have said. Moving on to the other manfad of our bodies are our genitals. So from the anus, if someone takes enema which is called huqna, then Mufti Salman Mansoor Puri Sahab Damat Barakatum writes over here in Tuhfa Ramazan that enema lene se roza toot jata hai. وَمَنْ احْتَقَدَ فَصَدَ صَوْمُهُ. Fatawa Durr Mukhtar Shami has written that if you take huqna, and then your roza is broken. So in Ramadan, if someone had a constipation problem and the doctor put some enema inside, then his fast will be broken. Similarly, if someone puts his finger from the anus side and it has some water on it or medicine on it, then the fast will break. Like piles, someone had piles and he applied some medicine or some tube and that medicine went up, then the fast will break. So you have to be careful, because the back passage is connected directly to the stomach, and if you put something from there, then that thing directly reaches the stomach. So anything that reaches the stomach will break the roza. Coming on to the private parts, ladies, if a doctor has, if she goes for a smear test and the gynecologist checks and puts the hand inside, if the hand is dry, then nothing is going inside, fast will not break. But if there was some gel or something on the doctor's hand, or he reinserted it, then because first time when he put inside there was some sticky substance on it, and then he put again, so that sticky substance went inside, it will break the roza. This is what Mufti Salman Sahib Mansoonpuri has written in Tuhfa Ramadhaan. So similarly, if a person uses catheter, for example, to urinate, then the masla over there is a little bit of difference among Imam Abu Yusuf and Muhammad rahmatullah alayhi. One opinion is that it breaks, the other opinion is that it does not break, because between the whole of the man's urinal organ and between the stomach there is the bladder. So if you put something inside, it will go into the bladder but not the stomach. So it will, the one version is that this does not break roza, but the other version is no, it does break roza, because it is directly connected to that and it goes into the stomach. So this is the opinion with regards to using catheter during the fasting. We should try and avoid that during Ramadan. However, it's unavoidable, you can go according to the second opinion as well, but try and use it at night, avoid it during the day. Moving on, there are some things which are makruh during roza. Other things. These are things which break roza. There are some things which do not break the roza. Number one is injection in veins. Like you inject some medicine, will not break. Or even go to the hospital and the doctor puts a drip on. So even though there is glucose going inside the body and giving it energy, but that is going in the veins, in the blood system, and it's not going in your stomach or in the brain. So that will not break the roza. So anything goes in the veins will not break the roza. We take this from the masla which fuqaha have written regarding snake bite. Because when a snake bites, the poison goes inside the blood system. But the fuqaha said roza will not break. So injection is similar. From there we take the dalil that it will not break. Blood tests. If a person goes for a blood test to hospital and the nurse takes the blood out, fast will not break. Wuzu will break according to Hanafi fiqh, but roza will not break. Roza will be okay. And similarly, cupping, hajamat, fast lagana, pachna lagana, that does also not break the roza according to the majority of the fuqaha. Imam Abu Hanifa, Imam Shafi'i, Imam Malik, rahmatullahi alayhim ajma'in, most of the ulama say that cupping does not break the roza. Only Imam Ahmad rahmatullahi alayhi, Imam Awza'i and some tabi'een used to say that fasting breaks the roza. They take the dalil from Aftar al-Hajim wal-Mahjum. This hadith narrated by Imam Abu Dawud rahmatullahi alayhi, that when a person takes cupping, then both persons' roza is broken. The one who takes the blood out and the one whose blood is taken out. Their both rozas are gone. But the majority of the ulama take the lead from another hadith of Imam Tirmizi rahmatullah alayhi, Salasun la yufattirna as-sa'im. And in that, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam included al-hijama. Also, Imam Tahawi rahmatullah alayhi narrates from Abdullah ibn Abbas radiyallahu anhu, عن ميمون بن مهران عن ابن عباس رضي الله عنهما قال احتجم رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وهو محرم صائم. In another hadith, عن ابن عباس قال احتجم رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم بين مكة والمدينة وهو صائم محرم. Imam Tahawi has narrated this from nearly 7-8 different chains of narrations that أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم احتجم وهو صائم محرم بين مكة والمدينة. And same is narrated from among the tabi'een, from the Sahaba, from Abu Sa'id al-Khudri radiyallahu anhu, from Anas ibn Malik radiyallahu anhu, and from the tabi'een, Qasim ibn Muhammad, Abu Qilaba, Ibrahim Nakha'i, Amir Sha'bi. They have all said that hajamat or cupping does not break the roza. And they say that aftar al-hajim wal-mahjum means qaraba an yuftira. They are very close to breaking their roza. The hajim, who is cupping, because if a little bit of blood goes inside the mouth, his roza will be broken. So he has to be very careful when he is sucking the blood with that horn. When he's taking it out, he has to be careful, because if one drop goes inside his guru, he's not going to break. So he's very close to breaking it. And the mahjoom, upon whom the cupping is done, he is, because he could faint. Because when a lot of blood is taken out, the person can faint. In some cases, not always. Not always, many times it doesn't happen, because sometimes, you know, I once had cupping done on my knees, nothing happened, sat over there for a little while, they took some blood out, one cup, and then finished, come back straight, it's okay, no problem. So if there is no problem, then there's no harm. But because it brings a person close to, and if he faints, then you might have to sometimes give him something to drink, or give him some banana to eat. That is what is meant by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that they are very close to breaking their roza. In this day and age, the Salafi fiqh, you know, they also say that cupping breaks the roza. We have a fatwa over here of Sheikh bin Uthaymeen, and he has written in there that among those things which 7 things which break the roza, and one of them he is included as cupping, and it breaks the roza. But you know, that is not according to the Hanafi fiqh. Similarly, he has also mentioned over here that enema and eardrops also don't break the roza. But that is also not correct according to the Hanafi fiqh. Enema and eardrops break the roza. You have to be very careful with regards to that. Similarly, he has said that receiving something via needle and nourishing substances which take place of food and drink, also they break the roza. But this is against the Hanafi fiqh. The Hanafi fiqh says that if something is entered through the veins, it does not break the roza. The Salafis say it does break the roza. So there are some differences within these. We will go over them later on. At the moment we are talking about the things that do not break the fast. One was injection in veins. The second was blood tests. They don't break the roza. Third is mazi, the vaginal discharge or fluidal discharge from man or woman. You know, when about thinking about the sexual line or things of that nature, and some discharge comes out, then that's not break the roza. Only if it's, you know, ejaculation, and that is done with some intention. Like for example, if it's done with the opposite person, and one organ enters the other organ, then the roza breaks, even though there is no ejaculation, and kafara is also farz on that. Similarly, if someone does the homosexuality act, that also breaks the roza of both the person, and they both have to give qaza and kafara of that later on. So this is what breaks the fast. And similarly, if a person was to, you know, just lie down with his wife and they are both naked and they touch one another, then you know, the person ejaculates, even though without you know, entering, then the roza breaks. The qaza will be lazim but not kafara. Similarly, masturbation also breaks the roza. Qaza will be done, but not kafara in this shakal. Kafara will only be given when there is penetration. In that situation, kafara is lazim, otherwise no. Similarly, kafara is lazim when you eat something which is tasty, like biryani, pulao, zarda, something which is nice and laziz. If something which is not normally eaten, like we mentioned, some stone or mud or soil or things like that, then you swallow that, your roza will be broken. You will only have to do qaza, but not kafara. So that is the difference between them. According to the Salafi fiqh, kafara will only be wajib if you have sexual intercourse with your partner. Other than just eating, drinking deliberately, they say kafara doesn't become farz. According to Hanafi fiqh and majority ulama, kafara becomes farz when, or by all 3 things which are prohibited for a sa'im. If any of those are done deliberately, intentionally to break the fast, then kafara will become farz upon that. Similarly, number 3, mazi does not break the fast. 4, kissing. Kissing the wife, if there is no risk, it's okay. And it does not break the fast. Some people think that if you kiss your wife then it breaks the fast. That is not correct. Just by kissing nothing happens. However, you know, try and avoid it. We mentioned over here the hadith. Someone came and asked Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that does kissing break the roza? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said no. Sometime later another person came, same question. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said yes. So Sahabi asked, Ya Rasulullah, why the different answers? And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam replied, the first person was an old man, and if he kissed his wife, there was no risk of ambistri and jima. So I said, okay, you can kiss your wife, no problem. But the second person was a young man, newlywed person. If he was to start kissing his wife, he might end up sleeping with her and, you know, having intercourse. So I said, no, you shouldn't kiss your wife. So you have to understand the situation, condition of the questioner, and then give the answer. So this is something which explains the contradiction between hadith, and this is something which was understood by the mujtahideen, the fuqaha. They were more close to the era of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They understood the hadith far better than us over here in the 15th century. So we have to trust them, rely on them, and go according to their research. Number 5, eating out of forgetfulness. Someone forgot his roza. He forgot that he is fasting today, and unintentionally he started eating. So his roza won't break. If you see him eating, then he is either an old, weak person, or he is healthy. If he is weak and old, let him eat it. And if he is young, healthy, you should remind him, don't eat. Oh yeah, I forgot. So eating out of forgetfulness, drinking out of forgetfulness does not break the roza. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, فَإِنَّمَا أَطْعَمَهُ اللَّهُ وَسَقَاهُ. Allah fed him, Allah gave him to drink. So don't worry, out of forgetfulness doesn't matter. Number 6, ihtilam. A person was sleeping during the day and he had a wet dream and he ejaculated, his fast won't break. Because he was sleeping and he was marful qalam. So his fast won't break even though he had ejaculation. Number 7, shower. If a person has showered even 2, 3, 4 times a day, he just come back from work and he needs a shower to get rid of the bad smell, then shower will not break the roza. He's okay to have as much shower as he wants. However, be careful when gargling to avoid any water going down the throat. Number 8, oil, surma. If you apply oil on your head and you can feel it in your brain, or surma you apply in your eyes, because eyes, they don't take things direct to the brain, so applying something in the eyes will not break the roza. Bleeding of gums but spitting it out. If your gums start bleeding, or if you have pyorrhea, in which the pus comes out of your gums, so it will not break the roza. Tears or sweat going down the throat. Some tears came out and unintentionally sweat, and you felt that salty taste on your tongue, and it was minimal, it will not break the roza. However, if you collect it, put it, and then it will break your roza. Miswak. Using miswak will not break the roza. You can use miswak as many times as you want. In fact, miswak is mustahab, and a person should use the miswak even though it's morning or afternoon. Imam Shafi Rahmatullah Alayhi said it's okay up to nisfun nahar, half day, up to zuhr. But after, later on in the evening, after asr, it's makruh, according to Imam Shafi. But Hanafi fiqh says that it's allowed and it's mustahab during all times. Moving on, some makruhat of roza, some things which are disliked during the roza. Gathering the saliva and swallowing it is makruh. If you take your saliva and spit it out in your hand and then you take it back again, your roza will break. Or if you kiss your beloved and suck her tongue and her saliva goes in your mouth, your roza will break, because it's coming from somewhere else. But your own saliva, it keeps going down, so you can't avoid it. So if your own saliva goes down, it doesn't break the roza. Even if you were to gather a lot of saliva in your mouth and then swallow it, it's makruh, but it won't break the roza. So among the things that are makruh is gathering the saliva and then swallowing it. Number 2, tasting salt in food without genuine reason. It's makruh. But with genuine reason, it's permissible. Genuine reason, normally the fuqaha say, shohar ka gussa. A husband is very aggressive and if there was a little bit more salt or mirch in the food, then the wife is really scared, then she can taste it in order to keep the food right. Otherwise, if he's cool and calm, you don't need to taste it. And don't risk your roza. Provided the tasting is just put on the tongue and then spit it out. Because if you swallow it, your roza will break. So don't swallow it. Using toothpaste or manjan, some sort of manjan or something, or toothpaste with roza is makruh, because there is risk of that toothpaste or manjan going down. So it's makruh, even though it will not break the fast, but it will be makruh. Women applying lipstick when there is risk of the lipstick or its effects going down the throat. So don't apply lipstick with roza, it's makruh, because there is risk of something, taste going down the throat. Number 5, caressing wife when the risk of fast being broken is there. So बीवी के साथ हंसी मजाक दिल लगी वगैरह रोज खतरे में हो तो नहीं करना चाहिए. Number 6, hard labor work which weakens the body. You should not work so much during Ramadan that your body becomes weak, and you should take some time off, a few hours, work half a day maybe, cut a few hours, 1-2 hours, come back home early, go to rest, especially if you go your own business, take some, reduce your working hours, and don't tire your body during Ramadan. Take care, because you are clear. Number 7, acts of disobedience while fasting. Guna ke kaam, ghibat, jhoot bolna, backbiting, lying, anything that is guna and sin, we should avoid during Roza. Number 8, exaggerating in gargling is makruh. We have mentioned this. Don't do too much exaggeration in gargling. Number 9, delaying suhoor until doubtful time is makruh. So eat your suhoor as early as possible, but not too early, meaning well in time, maybe 10-15 minutes before the time. Keep some, allow some, limit in between. Number 10, women keeping nafal roza without husband's permission is also makruh. So these are some things which have been mentioned as makruh. Dr. Saab just reminded us with regards to the needle, anything that goes in the bloodstream, according to the Hanafi fiqh, doesn't break the roza. Blood or anything, to the extent that if someone is on a kidney dialysis and he has to go for the blood transfusion, that also does not break the roza according to the Hanafi fiqh, because it's not going inside the body, it's going in the bloodstream, so it will be okay. We should try and avoid it as much as possible, like Dr. Saab said, these things. I will do it after roza, but if someone has to do it during roza, his roza will not be broken.
This conjecture, sorry, because the timing which Ramadan this year or following years as well,
long roza,
the normal hours are so narrow. Some people are following a particular masjid because their sunrise timing is such that their sahab may be coming near to 3. But some masajid, they are doing their fajr so that it does not become khaza. They do this sahar early and go. So we mustn't select a time, say, I'll say the fajr here, and then go and do the sahar because the time is later. It's worth reminding, because a lot of people are...
Some people pray fajr at 1:30. So if they are going to keep roza, they have to be careful that they don't do fajr at 1:30 and then sahri at 3 o'clock. So, in some places there was this masala. So what they have done is they have gone according to Aqrabul Bilad, the closest city. And the timing of the closest city, they have taken it about 2:20 or 2:30, something like that, and they're going to go around that. Like in Scotland, some areas, Glasgow and that area. Ghaznavi Sahib reminded us with regards to the angina attack, when they have to take the spray. But usme dawai hoti hai, Doctor? Dawai. So because it has medicine and the medicine goes inside, so it breaks the roza. So Dr. Sahib is saying you get some patches which you put on your chest or on the hip. So use those patches during Ramadan if you have this angina attack, or request your doctor to provide those for you.
Same applies to the inhalers for asthma.
Inhalers asthma. We covered that inhaler also has medicine. So according to the Hanafi fiqh, the inhaler breaks the roza. जिन आज़ार से रोज़ा तोड़ने की इजाज़त मिलती है, the reasons why you can't break your roza. Number 1, life-threatening illness or getting into a severe accident and being in need of treatment. So because of that, severe illness, severe accident, treatment, you are allowed to break the roza, take the medicine. A pregnant woman is fasting but she gets weak and fears for her life, she can eat something, drink something and break her roza. Similarly, a nursing mother runs dry of milk and fears for the baby or fears for her life, then she is allowed to break roza. And number 4, a person gets so thirsty that he is unable to bear that thirst and he could die, then he will be permitted to drink the water and save his life. So these are reasons for which breaking the fast could be permissible. Moving on, mustahabbat roza, things which are light and mustahab during roza. Number 1, to take suhoor and to have it late at night, not so early. Some people don't take suhoor, they just eat after Isha and go to sleep. Now, take some suhoor, get up in the morning. Because of suhoor, you will inshallah pray a few rakat nafil namaz, tahajjud as well. Make some du'as as well. Du'as are accepted at the time. So, make suhoor. Number 2, to keep busy during the day in tilawat and zikr and durush sharif and istighfar. So, as we said, avoid sins and do some good deeds. To spend with generosity upon relatives, orphans and the poor. Sadaqah, khairat, zakat. Sallallahu was very, very generous during the month of Ramadan, like in the hadith of Sahih Bukhari. Number 4, perform tahajjud, ishraq, chasht, awabin, nawafil, salatul tasbih if possible, whenever possible. So pray these extra optional or nawafil namaz during the month of Ramadan. Number 5, to perform i'tikaf, which is sunnah in the last ashara. And number 6, to keep busy in dua, especially at iftar time. There are many du'as, masnoon dua of iftar. اللهم لك صمت وبك آمنت وعليك توكلت وعلى رزقك افطرت فتقبل مني اللهم إني أسألك برحمتك التي وسعت كل شيء أن تغفر لي يا واسع الفضل اغفر لي ذهب الظمأ وابطلت العروق وثبت الأجر إن شاء الله. So these are some du'as which we should try and recite. Number 7, to do iftar quickly. Number 8, to do iftar with dates. And number 9, to take those dates in odd numbers, 3 or 5 or 7 is also mustahab. So these are some desirable deeds. And also not forgetting Taraweeh. To read full Taraweeh during Ramadan, 20 rakats, men and women. Men go to the masjid and read with Jamaat. Try and listen to the whole Quran, Khatme Quran, and participate in the whole Quran and listen to the whole Quran throughout the month of Ramadan. Ladies, if there is facility in your area to go to the masjid, go to the masjid. If not, pray it at home, but pray 20 full rakats. Don't pray any less, because that is the correct way of reading Taraweeh. From the time of Sayyidina Umar ibn Khattab radiyallahu anhu, Ramadan and 14th Hijri, in which he initiated the Taraweeh in this form of 20 rakats and then 3 rakats witr. From then on, the whole ummah has been praying this form of Taraweeh. So do that. So these are some things which we need to do throughout the month of Ramadan. We had some questions over here. One is about shower during the day. We've covered that. And then some questions over here. Qaylula during Roza, is it allowed? Sleeping during the day. Yes, of course it's allowed. And I've just mentioned that when you come back home from work, 5 o'clock, then half 5, rest for an hour or two before Asr, because in these days, during these days in England, Roza is very long. So we will be having iftari maybe 9:30. So, take some rest and give your body some sukoon. Fertility injections taken on the stomach, do they break the fast? Fertility injection, no, just as we said, any injection. Even the diabetic patient, if he takes some injection but doesn't eat anything, the insulin injection, that also doesn't break. But when you take insulin, you have to eat. The eating will break after that. G. Pregnant woman to be excused, are there any exceptions? We've just mentioned that if it's necessary, if she doesn't feel any weakness, she can't keep, then she should keep the fast. A pregnant woman and nursing mother. However, if it's harmful for them, then they are allowed. It is permitted for them. If a medical reason. But if a woman is nursing, breastfeeding, but for 1 month she puts the baby on the bottle, then okay, put on the bottle. Give her something else to feed. But try and keep your rozas and don't miss out your rozas. If a person is unable to keep fast, then how much amount he has to give? Okay, sadaqah fitr. In our country over here in England, we give £2.50, sadaqah fitr maybe £3, £2. So for one roza, one fast, £2 or £3 according to your ability. £2, and for 30 rozas you give £60, and you have to feed the poor person. You have to give him good food for that time. Actually, it was 1 sa' of gehu, and that is equivalent to 2.2 kilograms of wheat flour. And that cost about maybe roughly £1.50, £2. So we just give a rough guidance according to that. Is it decided depending on the country you live in or the country you give in? Depending on where you live, not the country where you give. Over here, you have to give according to your own country. Some other questions, but I think we've covered this within the talk, inshallah. So I think we will finish on. ठीक है जी डॉक्टर साहब? So a few masail about Ramzan and what's connected to it. हाँ, वो रह गया यहाँ, माफ करना डॉक्टर साहब, ये जो है ना मेरे पास सलफी मजहब का एक आर्टिकल है जिसमें कुछ चीजें लिखी हैं. Some of us we have covered like cupping and receiving via needle and transfusion of blood. So they say transfusion of blood also invalidates the fast. Receiving via needle invalidates the fast, and kidney dialysis invalidates the fast. But all these three, we have mentioned that according to Hanafi fiqh, they do not invalidate the fast. Donating blood comes under the same heading as cupping, because it affects the body in the same way. So they say that donating blood also breaks the fast. But according to the Hanafi fiqh, donating blood does not break the fast. Because when you give one bottle out, that's okay, you have donated some blood, but it will not break the fast. What after al-hajim wal-mahjum we have explained, they are very close to it, going fast. If a person suffers nosebleed, his fast is valid because that happened involuntarily. That is also the Hanafi fiqh stance as well. With regards to bleeding that results from extraction of tooth, surgery or blood test, etc., that does not invalidate the fast because it is not cupping or something that is similar to cupping, unless it has an effect on the body similar to that of cupping. We explained that if the blood goes inside the throat, like after the extraction of the tooth, then it will break the fast over there as well.
There's more chance, more chance after tooth extraction of blood going than cupping.
Then cupping
is an external process.
External process.
But for toothache, it's better they wait until the evening.
And then moving on, they say over here in this article that enemas, eye drops and ear drops invalidate the fast. So we've mentioned that eye drops do not invalidate the fast, but ear drops and enemas do invalidate the fast according to the Hanafi fiqh. Medical tablets that are placed under the tongue to treat asthma attacks, so long as you avoid swallowing any residue, they say that it does not break the fast, it does not invalidate it. But as we have said, because the medicine effect goes inside, it does invalidate according to the Hanafi fiqh. Insertion of anything into vagina such as pessaries or a speculum or the doctor's fingers for the purpose of medical examination does not break the fast. This is what the Salafi fiqh is saying. But according to the Hanafi fiqh, we have